Alright, this is um, round 4 of Orange Crystal. We have Cinnamon Slice versus Quijas. Quijas is playing Nino, as they usually do, and Cinnamon is playing Seliph, likely being an aggro version, because that is what Seliph likes to do generally. And Nino is very good at getting dodges once she gets to main promo, but considering she's a mage, she will likely struggle with aggro just because she can get hit by any cost 1. So yeah, immediately bonding Lilina and deploying Kanos, so those are always nice things to do. Odd that they're using Nino skill 1 this early. Usually you would want to do that only on if you're going first. But it's perfectly fine, I guess. It just means that you're less likely to hit the darkness emblems and less likely to hinder the Seliph. And considering that's what you want to do early, just because if this is aggro Seliph, they're going to be dumping their entire hand, which means darkness emblems are pretty much worthless. So, yeah. Also, if you hear anything in the background, I'm 3D printing something, and yeah. And there we go. They've already dumped their hand. So Kanos might gain plus 10, but there is a lot more bodies out there. Alright. So yeah, this is what I expected, is just immediately 2 units punching. Already got 1 hit. And then this will be a second hit. This is also Tactician Emblem if they actually want to deal with the Kanos. My opinion is honestly that they shouldn't. Kanos is not a huge threat. They can pull him forward to threaten removing him, but I actually don't think they should. I don't think they should get the Leaf to attack Kanos. And yeah, they're not. So the point of doing something like this is now Kanos is in the front line. Quijas might tap Kanos back. It also means if they class change it, it won't work well. And even with that self, this hits just because 50 on 30, going to hit, even with a 20 support. Alright. They are low enough to immediately deploy the Alphonse. Okay. So now they're using Alphonse skill 3, I think it is, to make Nino immune to cost 1s. So yeah, a lot of the weaklings now no longer can hit Nino. And they're clearing board in a good way. Considering Leaf is the highest attack value, getting Alphonse to kill him, I would say Kanos should kill that. Yep, because 40 on 40 is quite likely to hit. And a Manicheed Emblem. Alright. So Nino might be immune, so that means they're best... honestly, backlining Alphonse and just spamming his skill isn't the worst idea in this matchup. Just because this Seliph does not have too much pull, it only has Ares. Either deployment or bonding, or supporting with Ares. And it pretty much would just lock away a lot of hits from ever hitting Nino. It's not the greatest plan, but it is a plan. The hell are those 2 cards doing? Oh, they are just bonding that. Okay, yep, makes sense now. Just took me a second. I thought he was a Seliph took all the deployment. So yeah, Deirdre's only target now is Canos, which isn't that bad. And I'm not sure if they're going to notice this, but Alphonse is technically an 80. So if Seliph was to try and kill the Alphonse and then they don't hit, it could actually be quite punishing to them if they think that they're going to be a 70 versus 70 attack. It shouldn't matter too much because most of Seliph's supports are 30s, but you never know. Okay, that'll buff Seliph up to 80 as long as he doesn't self. So he should be able to kill Alphonse pretty consistently. And that's exactly what he's going to go for. And Alphonse actually is the one that selfs. Oof. A little rough, but it happens. And he lives. As long as they don't flip Larce to crit him, which would be a kind of a stupid idea. Also, I just realized they use Sigurd to buff Deirdre. I don't like that because that meant that Alphonse was actually quite likely to live. Just because 70 versus 80, not the greatest numbers for you, ever. But it worked out in their favor. Alright. Sorry, I heard something weird behind me from the printer. Anyway, we got main promo Nino. Oh, yeah, Sigurd needs to die. Alright, so Nino technically has one more deployment, so if they had a Manakete, this would be a good time, or another mage, just so that they can hit backline. But they don't, seemingly. Alright, Nino's doing what Roy likes to do, stack a Lilina, and probably swing backline. Exactly what he's doing. Considering they crit with Larce, likely dead, which means that Nino gets to draw a card. So she has now technically survived the most prominent part of the aggro. The issue is now how much cards can she give Seliph without dying to him? Because if he gets too much resources, he can just crit and just pretty much kill her. And one of the best ways he can do that is with Lewins. Pretty much revealing the top 4 cards of his deck, and then he can deploy them as if they were in his hand. So that's a Shannon, Deirdre, and Sikath on the board very cheaply. Deirdre also letting them get their Sikath support, Sikath bond into another Larce if they're smart enough, since there is the Larce in the retreat. This is pretty much actually a worst case scenario deploy for Nino, because Shannon can swing a 60 and Sikath is a 50, which can hit decently well. Alright. Fine. Alright, there we go. Exactly what I was saying. They got another Larse crit bond for getting rid of the Sakath, which has no bond skill. Alright, Shannon revealing 2 swords. Because Ghost Dead is a sword for some reason. That is sarcasm. He has the sword in his hand. Yeah. Alright. So 60, 70, 80. This does hit, but they can flip 1 to get plus 10 to save themselves. Yep, Erica support, flip 1, get plus 10, become 90 on defense, and then survive the hit. Which will force them to which will force Sin to flip 1 and crit. So that flip 1 just caused your opponent to flip 1, generally a good trade. We also know Nino has a dodge in hand, so no matter what, they need to get hit 2 more times. They're only likely to get hit 1 to 2 more times anyway, but... And yep, Seliph skill to prep the Larses. And this is the attack that is likely to hit, because that's 70 plus 20, just because Seliph skill giving them a plus 10. This means that if they were to activate Erica, it would still hit, but they do have the dodge that we saw them grab last turn. And this is 70-80 attack again, so this also hits. Nino pretty much needs flyers to live these attacks, which is very painful. And now it's time for the Dare Drag. 30, 50. This does not hit, luckily, but they do have the Larse crit. And does Nino have a dodge? Yes, she does.
Are you commentating?
Oh, yes, I am.
No, what are you commentating?
Oh, Quijas versus Cinnamon Slice.
Is this crit lineage?
It is Aggro Seliph versus Nino.
Okay, what's the score?
0-0 so far. But
right.
in this game in general, it's Seliph favorite at the moment.
Anything cool happen?
No, not overly. It's just been normal stuff so far. It's just if can Nino survive the onslaught, honestly.
Being a 60 base certainly doesn't help.
Yeah. 60 base with almost no miracles. There was and there's already been 2 Larse bonds because Cinnamon Slice was able to Lewin out his entire board, and Deirdre was able to set up another Larse.
That's rough.
Yeah, Larse's been flipped twice so far, and they have another one.
Jeez.
But with this, they should be able to clear board. You get Peony to swing Sakath, and you get Roy to swing Deirdre or Shannon. Then you get Nino to swing the other.
I thought it was Scathitch.
No one. I don't know how to say that. I just called him Sakath always.
I feel like there's no way that's correct.
Does anyone know Hebrew names? Well,
What's a Hebrew name?
Yeah, a lot of genealogy was like weird Hebrew names, as far as I know. So
I didn't know Seliph was a Hebrew name.
I don't agree with this choice. They still have 4 orbs. There's no reason to go face. There's no way you can kill them this turn.
Maybe they.
And they even have the dodge, so you don't get the draw with Alina.
It's not great.
Yeah, it's not great. Not good at all.
Yeah, that's not awesome.
Yeah. It does ruin there.
Could you say that again?
It does ruin their hand. They don't have a lot of hand, so if you are actually able to control the board...
But, like, you know... What? He said he'd dodge. Why would he take an away? Oh, they... Yeah, they...
Yeah, they
Right.
did...
They just...
They used Leaf
High
Emblem.
next.
They had Hope Emblem. So 2 of their orbs are technically an MC.
Yes. How do you feel about that? Are you like, keep them an MC type of guy? Or do you like to put them back?
It has messed me up in, like, 3 or 4 games. I very much dislike when people do that.
I'm the same way.
Just because I look at orbs and then I'm just planning around that. I'm not paying attention to the MC tab because the MC tab is generally empty.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm saying.
it's popped up a few times. It's messed me up. So if I'm against someone newer, I'll let them do it. If I'm against someone older, I won't. Is my determination. Which is, yeah.
Seems to be what most people on the server think.
There's a lot of people that just say...
MC tab.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that just put them in the MC tab and just keep it there.
Sure, I'll share screen.
Yeah, I'm not home right now.
I'm also recording this, by the way, so...
I know.
Okay.
I literally got nothing to do, though, because I was supposed to be timing, but my ride had to go do something else real quick, so now I'm sitting outside their apartment building while I'm waiting.
So, what do you think about the sports today?
Nino?
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't even know people played Nino MC anymore.
Nino's actually really good.
Quijas does, and it's pretty much just a mini Roy, is the best way to describe it. It's decent, but it's not great.
Doggy?
Well, they can play some cool stuff that Roy can.
Honestly,
Am I too weird?
I don't really think Nino can play things that Roy can't, because they both just do the same thing with just setting stuff. It's just...
Did you see, Did you see Selphie's Nino deck from a while back?
Grandpa! Alright, thank you. Yeah.
And I'm just gonna mute that because it sounds like they're talking to someone else, so... no, I have not seen Selphie's Nino. Just because...
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were playing some different cards in there. It was a pretty unique list, and it seemed really strong, too.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I was basing my knowledge off of.
That's fair.
So, looks like we're going to be able to get some Larceys back this turn.
The Happy Time Truck. Okay, there was just an ice cream truck that just drove past my door.
Ice cream. I love ice cream.
I just wasn't expecting it because I hadn't seen one ever here, and well...
In the middle of the night. Yeah, go get the ice cream.
It's 6:20 p.m.
I forgot you're Canadian.
That... Canadian has farther east time zones than EST.
Also has farther west time zones, so what's your point?
No, farthest west is PST. Which is the same as, like, Seattle.
No, Alaska. No, Alaska.
Yeah, Alaska is not Canada.
Well, it's in... I don't know, I don't count it.
I'm sorry. PST is the farthest Canadian time zone.
Doesn't count. It's not the same. Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah, I don't know why they did it like that. It's quite strange.
For what they did is they just misordered it, and then Cinnamon just allowed them to draw and then Nino. Which is very technically wrong. It does mean that they set a defensive support for whatever, but shouldn't matter too much. Yeah, they just set Canos. But yeah, the best thing that Nino has over Roy is the ability to get dodges back with Canos, technically, by stacking Lilina, and then a Nino. And then also being able to always get dodges back with skill 1 instead of a random card like Roy does. But Roy just being plus 20 on average is just better. And there's a dodge.
So what is Cinnamon Slice's like track record tournament wise?
I have no idea.
Oh,
So
I can
this
check really quickly.
50
if you
on
want.
80. I mean, there is literally a bot command to do it.
oh, it's been in
For
general.
their
'Cause I know,
tournament record?
yeah. Like, are they
Is that a
known
new
for entering tournaments?
there's one of Sauce's IRL friends, so they've kind of
Yeah.
learned a lot from him. I
Yep.
think they're a newer player though.
They are
Cinnamon is
technically...
03, so
Yeah, I knew
Yeah.
Quijas was not doing that great because when I was testing bot things, Nino came back with like a 0% win rate or an 18% win rate
Yeesh.
for individual games.
Yikes.
So like, it happens. And yeah, so Cinnamon got up paired twice because he was technically seed number 1 in the tournament
oh,
from
that's
the
rough.
randomness. So he got up paired because he was always considered the best of whatever group he was in.
It's really sad. It's not based off of like the tiebreakers.
So it is, but when you don't have those tiebreakers as a reference, it does the seed placement.
That sucks.
So he was seed number 1, so he's always the top of whatever like bracket he's in. It's great because that means you win certain tiebreakers. Like if it's like, hey,
Yeah.
one of these people moves on, one of them doesn't. That's when it's a good time to have a high number. When it's who gets up paired, that's a terrible time to have a high number.
You know, because we have the PRs, you could have done seeding with the PRs.
I could have, but the issue with doing that is there was a lot of new people. It would have.
Yeah, but you could have just put them in like last seed alphabetically or something.
I could have, but for almost every event here, we
Yeah.
shuffle seeds, and that's just the way we've always done it.
What about next tournament? We'll use the placements from this tournament as seeds.
Who knows? That's up to who's ever hosting
I
it. I'm only
think
hosting
if
this
I
one.
can beat, I think if I can beat someone in a fist fight, I should be seated higher than them. Just saying.
You
I
know,
think that
fair.
makes sense to me.
Oh right, we got colorless Tiki out here, who ramps
Wait,
bullets
what?
for free.
Oh, when did this guy
And
get
plus 30 for first
skills?
attack too, if I recall.
I don't. That's not the important part.
It's not,
Yeah.
but it's the fun part. I was looking at Tiki MC again the other day, so I was bored.
Tiki
The
MC
important part
does
is
be
that
a
it's an
decent
80
thing.
base.
Yeah.
Okay, red tiki or blue tiki though?
It always ends
colorless.
up as young. Young is the better main final promos. So you usually start as blue, because why not? Because it has a better cost 1, and then you end up as red, and then you end up as young.
No, I
I was gonna end
played
up colorless
against
for fun.
I played against a deck that used the red MC. It was like an armor that was like 30 and then it got plus 20 when it was attacked. And then they HS'd into Tiki because I couldn't hit them in the early game because they were a 50 base. And then they HS'd into Tiki. It's like, no, I can't do anything about this.
That
That's
is
really-
a weird setup, but alright, it works.
Yeah, it wasn't
Um,
a weekly.
So the issue with doing what they're doing right now is Arvis is on the board. Arvis has the ability to
Yeah.
discard a bond to pull. Is it any noms?
Roy.
Choose one enemy in the backline. Yeah. So Nino is not safe. So right now, by hitting Seliph, they're just going to be giving cards to the Seliph. Arvis needs to die in some way. Otherwise, this is absolutely terrifying. And the only one that can kill Arvis right now is Nino herself. So, yeah. Alright, we got a buff, and then not using it right away, that's fine. Except for the fact that Seliph still has 2 orbs. Now he has 1 orb left.
Well, I didn't realize Mur got the plus 10 from Tiki. Very funny.
It's all it's all stones.
Yeah.
Another issue with this is Quijas has no hand. If they don't win this turn,
that's
and
right.
Nino's in the front line, she is dead.
Well, you know,
And now they're tap
Damn.
moving back, so they
Yeah.
did not read what Arvis does.
that's unfortunate. Maybe Cinnamon will just
Leave
forget that
cards.
Arvis is in the field. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Cinnamon could always forget what Arvis does as well.
The good win condition. That's what I'm saying.
Yes! Exactly. This is why you decline people to do that.
But they don't. They probably don't know that's like an option though.
Yep.
You should make that like a tournament policy.
Um.
Like you have to put them
So
back.
the issue with that is one, people can always just gentlemen. They both agree to a rule break. So if no one reports the rule break, it's
Yeah.
a rule break. Two, Lackey sometimes moves cards around. If you pick up a card, hold it, drag it around, and then you keep it held in your mouse, and someone joins or leaves as spectators, it sometimes moves cards around. Some
Right.
people absolutely hate that and will blame that for things that really didn't do anything for. So they go, oh, I'm just going to leave it here because of that. Or if you think of IRL Cipher, you can all your peaked orbs, you can flip one of them sideways. That's perfectly legal. You can mark which ones you've peaked at. Lackey, you can't really do that because you can't tap anything in the orb zone.
Can't you mark things as a bond in the orb zone?
No.
Or no.
Nope.
Okay.
You cannot. Anything that's in the orb zone, there's no options. They're just face
I
down
don't
cards.
know how you guys did that. It's so weird.
Alright, I'm gonna skedaddle. I'm gonna go climbing.
Alright, have fun.
So the simple idea is, in IRL, I'm going to tap the card sideways. In Lackey, I will move the card into a slightly different zone so I can still see it.
Yeah, I know, but in
it's
Lackey, even in hidden deck zone, even in hidden zones like your deck, you can still like tap cards and like flip them off.
You
But you
can,
just
but
can't interact with the orbs.
no. Even in the deck, you can do that. You can tap a card in the deck, but visually it does not get tapped. But when you draw it, you will draw it tapped.
Oh,
It's the same
okay.
idea as if you flip it face down. Orbs are the same. You can flip an orb face down, it does nothing in the orb zone, but then when you take that orb, it'll start flipped face down in your hand.
But you can flip a card in your deck face up and look at it, right?
No, you can't.
Oh, I was sworn I've done that before.
Nope.
I sound crazy then.
100%.
100%. That's supposed to be.
But you're crazy. It's fine.
What?
Good game. Good game.
This is so sad. Alright, going into game 2, what kind of adjustments do you think these players are gonna make?
That's a question. I don't think there's a real good answer because Quijas generally did that properly. Other than miscounting orbs because they were in two zones. One of them not named orbs. The main thing is just being able to keep Alphonse alive. I think if they backlined Alphonse, they were.
Oh, they have an Alphonse in here?
Yep. And they deployed it in the front line. It cleared one thing and then got killed. It saved them a turn, but if they just backlined the Alphonse and spam its skills, it's fine. It's doing its job. So yeah, this is pretty much the exact same turn 1 that happened last game. Except this time.
After last game, they put more value on clearing the Arvist too. Now that they've seen what it can do.
One would hope that they were going to pay more attention to the Arvis, because granted, they didn't have really a good option. They would have had to swing with Nino, and then just pray they got a dodge.
Well, yeah, but yeah.
Also, one thing that they could have done is do Nino's skill, and then you use Roy to stack the Nino, and then you can flip one, draw one. Because you supported a Nino. It's not as good, but it's better than just doing the Roy skill and just hoping. Because you at least don't sell twice, and you can guarantee Nino's skill 2 to draw one. That's pretty much the main benefit that they could have done, is just play around with the two setting support skills.
Right. Manakete on defense. Never like to see that.
True, but at the same time, I don't think Manakete really matters here too much, just because Nino's a turn 3 promo, and so she's already, next turn she's promoing. And that's all you really need to do with Manakete. Manakete's most effective turn 1 and 2, so Roy, our other 5 4 MCs, can promo a turn earlier. That's the huge benefit of Keating. And well, we're already past that point.
Right. They also found a large set.
Nino's
pretty
skill
cool.
1 again. Okay, they are searching for something.
Don't
That's,
know about that one.
no, that's 50 versus 70. That'll live.
Yeah.
Unless they have a Knos crit. Which
I
actually...
mean, you know. Oh.
Okay, you're now eating your microphone, so I'm going to turn you down.
What? No, I'm not.
You suddenly got a lot louder.
Sorry.
So the crit there was a good option because it just removed... that Sakath was going to hit Nino next turn. So by critting it, you're just pretty much... You're getting rid of Knos to save a Nino life. And that is pretty much Knos's life goal, is to kill himself in a blizzard to save Nino or something like that. I don't know.
True.
So, yeah. But sadly, there is no darkness emblems again. I feel like they should have swung with Nino again early on these early turns, just to try and darkness the Seliph, because one darkness can really put him back. Just because, well, it's all low-cost aggro stuff. And, by the look of this, Seliph does not have another cost 1 to deploy, which means you are not getting fully beat down. Because usually you would just deploy... Oh, no, there you got the Arvis on board. Alright, so this will also be a test to see if they just kill the Nino, or if the Nino kills the Arvis, and if they're smart enough to pay attention to that again. Because it already punished them once, so we'll see if they prepare in advance and just take care of the Arvis. 40, 50, that's a 60, so even with the Erica flip, it will still hit. Which is the biggest issue with this Erica, is her support skill doesn't usually do too much. And that also was a hit. They are dodging at 1 orb.
You have to play around the yellow unavoidable.
You mean Seliph? I don't...
I don't think they're playing that Seliph in this.
Yeah, that's the only... There's no unavoidable in yellow. There's only one way that this deck usually can win at 0 orbs by anything threatening, and that's the Seliph that says you win the game if your opponent's at 0 orbs and you flip 5 bonds. That's not likely to happen. They're declaring Alphonse
And it's
again.
at the end of your opponent's turn too, so they have a turn to kill you.
Yeah, so, and Seliph has to be untapped. At that point, Seliph will usually just try and kill you, because that's usually just as effective. So I don't think dodging that early is super helpful. That's a 10 support.
Unfortunate time for the Roy.
Yep. So in my opinion, Alphonse should generally do that skill, that attack, if Alphonse is in the front. Just because there's no reason not to have him do it. He's just way more likely to kill this 50 base than your 40 base Knos. The only reason not to do it is if you think that there was going to be a Keat on that attack. And Knos is technically more likely to hit the Seliph, because Seliph is more likely to Self than Leaf. Alright, will Nino run away, or will Nino swing Arvis? Okay, she's doing the smart thing. Nino swung properly.
No Keats to buff the Fae, very sad.
But it still hits. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I do not know, but it hit.
Also, they don't have promo.
Yes, or they think the Alphonse is that worth it.
Right.
Which, to a degree, it is. Alphonse is going to save you more than main promo, in my opinion, in this.
I feel like
Because,
could probably. I guess we don't know what their hand is, but you could definitely just like wait a turn and go
Yeah.
down to 0 orbs, you know.
yeah, there's only 4 units in Seliph's entire deck that can hit you if Alphonse is on the board, and one of them is Seliph. And the other 3 currently are in bonds. No other card can hit you when Alphonse is out.
Let's see if they have an Alphonse dodge, because with the Larce, it's pretty much a guaranteed hit.
Yes, there is no miracle emblem, so if Seliph wants to, he can always kill the Alphonse. The question is probably, does he want to right now? And that's probably what he's thinking. Or he's actually thinking about what else he's going to deploy, because he's technically has 1 more point. Does he need to just kill the Alphonse because it's that annoying, or do you just ignore it?
Why would you want to ignore it?
Because if you think that Quijas has no dodges, you get Seliph to kill Nino, and then you get Seliph to kill Nino next turn. Instead of having Seliph kill Alphonse. But Shannon here can kill Alphonse. Alphonse is 80 base, but being 50 means unless that's a 30 support in a self situation, it's not looking good.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so they
feel
are
like
doing this.
considering that we saw them dodging to 1 orb earlier, they probably have more Ninos in hand. Because if that was their last Nino, they wouldn't have used it for a dodge.
It was like a Nino cost 1, I thought. Okay.
Yeah, but it's a dodge, you know.
So I don't agree with dodging with Alphonse here, because Shannon can now kill Alphonse.
Right.
If you had let Alphonse die, this attack means nothing to you. And then you deploy the Alphonse for 1 deployment next turn, and use his skill again, and you get his skill for 2 turns. By dodging with Alphonse when he's such a low deployment cost, it means you saved Faye's life, because Shannon probably would have killed Faye, but you allow Alphonse to be dead for good. Considering he's 1 deployment, I don't think he would have blocked you from anything, because if you had main promo this coming turn, you could have main promoed Nino, deploy Alphonse, get Golden Shield up for another turn. Heal a dodge with Nino's skill, boom, you're no matter what living a turn. But sadly, that's not how it worked out, so yeah. Yep. See, so if you had...
Bonding Lolina the turn we promo. It's
yeah,
rough.
and Bonding Lolina, which is a way of drawing more cards. But yeah, imagine if you also had the Alphonse to deploy this turn. And then you could activate your shield, you don't have to worry about Shannon at all, and you're in just a better spot. Also, I hope you have another Lolina or a good support to be... Oh, into a self. Unfortunate.
That's rough.
It doesn't overly matter too much, because you still have Faye that can clear it, or Nino, because they are both 60s. So, yeah. And that hits, but there is the Hope Emblem.
Oh no. Not the orb.
I don't think it's going to matter in this one. Nino is already...
Hopefully-
has a small hand with not too many orbs. Nino needs a way to survive. Yep, Nino skill 1.
Yeah, see what we're gonna stack.
Okay.
Knos.
Dark.
Okay.
Well, they have 3 cards in hand. It's an interesting choice.
I mean, it might just be the worst card in their hand. I'm really confused, though, why you didn't bond Knos. Oh, unless they got the Knos from the Nino class change.
That could
Also,
have been.
I don't think Cinnamon should have dodged that. There's no real reason, and you just denied yourself a card. Granted, you have a Larce. If you bond something, you have 2 Larce crits. So it might be something that just doesn't matter, because you bond anything, you deploy 2 beat sticks, or you have that. Okay, never mind. It makes sense now why you dodged. Because if you took the
Still a
orb,
bit
then
telegraphed, yeah.
yeah, Lachesis would not do that.
Oh, This is the first time we've seen this card, and it's a total whiff.
No, it is actually not. Larse untaps herself on crit, and you have access to a Larse crit in bonds.
Oh,
Larse is right now a double attack. So Larse is
pretty good.
actually a good choice here. And then you flip, even if Larse is going to hit, you flip to crit. And then she untaps. So that is equivalent to 270 attacks right there.
Oh, you might be dead this turn.
Yep. This is 3 attacks that are all likely to hit. Because Larse is going to burn the crit, though, Seliph could always self, and then just not hit.
I mean, they could have a Seliph crit.
Or the 40 support brings her up to 100.
Or, I mean, we're critting with this anyway.
Yeah, I know they're critting, but like, we can dream.
We can dream. That's cute. Know what Larse does?
Once per turn, when this unit critical hits, untap this unit. Very, very helpful. Alright, so there's one Nino.
Why are we dodging it one more?
I don't know. I questioned that earlier. They did see the Seliph, but that requires a flip 5. Do you look at their bonds? Do you really think they're either going to get 5 face-up bonds, or that they're going to like class change into that in this scenario? No, they're just going to keep punching you in the face.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're doing anything really.
Ooh, that's unfortunate. That still hits. This is the one hit you needed them to self on.
Like, they have a face-up Larse, you know.
Yes, but it's more of if they have to burn the Larse here, that means the Larse's attack has a better chance of failing, for whatever reason.
It doesn't look like it's gonna fail.
Nope, they need to dodge again. They dodge. There you go. They are at least living another turn.
Passing back 2 cards.
Yep.
You could definitely make the sports state work. Just have to stabilize a bit.
Pretty much what needs to happen is they need to deploy Roy, and they need to get Nino in the back line.
What would go really hard here is an Elliowood support, and then you like flip 3 and rearrange your whole board.
Honestly, that would work. And
Really not necessary, because you can just tap your little guys in the back, but you know.
Well, it's because they also have that Leaf Bond. Leaf Bond does give some movement. It is non-main character, so if you were to get that, you could rearrange the board, have 3 things in the front line because the Elliowood support, and then you would be fine. So yeah, Elliowood support is their best support to happen in this thing. So if they got in, and they bonded Roy.
Not where you want to be.
No, Erica does work. Erica does work. Because on Erica kill, she can flip 1, deploy the unit.
Right.
Or you can flip 1 to draw that card, if the unit's already on board. So if she gets a Nino support, it's actually very good for them.
Front line.
Okay, I don't agree with that. They should have waited until they've done a few swings, because if they get the Elliowood support, that would have been a free thing. Okay. Okay, this is actually nice. They do this swing, and they get to draw a card. They can also flip 1 to deploy the Lilina. Preferably in the front line. Yep, there it goes. It's dead. Quijas draws 1, the card. Erica flip 1, and Lilina's now deployed.
I mean, they could add it to the hand.
You do the add to hand if it's a Nino, a Canas, or a Faye support, but it wasn't. Alright, so now they should do all of their attacks and see if they can get that Elliowood support.
Do you think you flip for Lilina?
You might, because they have enough bonds, but for now they should get Faye to attack, Canas to attack. And just hope that they get the Lilina. Or not the Lilina, the
just what I was looking for.
Yeah, no, Keat. Absolutely worthless. It's fine. Just keep swinging and pray that you get the Elliowood.
I mean, you know, tap move back isn't the worst play in the history of time.
It's not, but you want to do that last. Notice how whenever I said attack with Faye, attack with Lilina, attack with Kanos. Never Nino. Nino should never attack here. She needs to run. You just want to attack first in the case that you get the Eliwood support, and then you can move her back without attacking. So they should have got Kanos to attack first here. It is a slight misplay, but it's not a major one.
They could tap move forwards the Canuts.
They can do that, yes. But they're not.
They're not even gonna attack with it?
I guess not. So obviously you should attack
with... You just want to fish for some emblems.
Yeah, you should attack with it always because you might get another Nino support, which lets you flip one. Actually, no, she's once per turn.
You could get like a Roy. I might let you hit.
It's a 30 support. You'd be 70 in total. It would have to be Roy versus Self. Yeah, it can happen.
Could happen. Never knew.
So a hit is possible. You could get a Mage Emblem. You could get an Eliwood, as I said. There's
playing loot?
No, I haven't seen loot. There's enough of a chance that something good could happen through Nino 1 for Mage Emblem, Eliwood for movement, or that weird Roy or Peony situation, because they're both 30s, that Kanos swinging was likely the better option just because something good has a chance of happening.
And even if you don't want to swing, you should at least bring him to the front line just to help ball.
Yeah, make him be a body, because right now, the body thing I don't think matters super much because Leaf can move one unit. Arvis can move anything. And Arvis is Cinnamon's
he has Arvis.
Yeah, if he had Arvis, he would have deployed it immediately and used it, pretty much. Because there's no reason not to.
So the thing is, if we had Kanos in the front line, you have the Leaf move and the Arvis move, then they still have two guys in the front line.
No. The Arvis just pulls Nino.
Oh, the Arvis.
If there's an Arvis, it pulls Nino and it's over. Leaf just means that they can't have one body blocker. They need at least two body blockers.
Got like 3 of those guys.
Yeah. Granted, you could bond something, deploy the Leaf, and Leaf gives his bond skill to all units in the bond zone, all cards in the bond zone, and flip 3, push all 3 back.
If he does that, I'd be very shocked.
I would as well, but it is technically an option, and that's one of the major reasons why Kanos in the front line would be a good option. I personally think that you'd want to swing for Eliwood more, but it is a solid option, and there is reason to move Kanos forward. No matter what, he should have either attacked before Nino moved, or moved forward. Either one was good options. This was the worst case.
Yeah. Well, you know, if he can't deal with the board this turn, then Nino was put in a pretty good position to start making a comeback.
Yes. As long as Erica or Lilina live, Quijas is in a not bad spot. Because Erica's deployed.
Thinking means he probably doesn't have Arvis.
Yeah. Quijas just saying, I hope Peanut Gallery has nice things to say.
Yes, you have a very good taste in characters. Nino is pretty cool. That's what I have to say.
I mean, Nino is good. I'm not the hugest fan, but I don't hate her or anything.
What? Have you even played Fire Emblem Purple?
I have not played Fire Emblem Purple.
Yeah, yes.
Fire Emblem Purple is not a game.
Whatever. Radiant Sword. Binding Blade. That's what it's called.
Binding Blade is FE6.
Like, whatever. I don't play these games.
Blazing Blade is FE7.
Okay, I was close.
Don't worry, a lot of people get Binding Blade and Blazing Blade mixed up because, well, they're almost the same. Okay, so judging by what Cinnamon Slice is saying, by what are the chances you have one Nino in your hand, I wouldn't actually be surprised if there was a Leaf deploy here. Arvis. Okay, Arvis also works.
The fact that he bonded a Seliph means he probably has another deploy in his hand, right?
You would think, because if you don't bond that Seliph, you have an Arvis crit with Larse, and you have a Seliph crit. This situation puts them in a spot where, what's the chance of having, like, you need, their other card must either be it must be a Seliph. Their card in hand is a Seliph. It's the only thing that makes sense in this scenario.
And I mean, that wins the game, right? Unless the entire hand is Nino.
That's 50. They flip for crit.
Some lucky support.
We know she has at least one dodge from Nino's skill. There it is. I don't know if that was the actual one grabbed, because whenever you grab a heal, you should always dodge with it first, because your opponent knows that card. Unless you are trying to dissuade them from hitting you, then you don't dodge with it, so that they know that there's still a dodge. Mind games.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, it's small minor things that I realized that I was just like, oh, I should be doing this better. Because my opponent knows this many cards in my hand, and so on and so forth. Alright, this technically hits. Is there a Nino dodge?
What do you mean technically? It very clearly hits.
You know what I mean. And there it is, there's the
No,
dodge.
I don't. What do you mean technically? There's nothing technical about it. It's adding numbers.
God damn it. Look, I just say that. Don't criticize my speaking quirks. I have a lot of them.
Oh yeah, name one right now.
I say escape.
Oh, that's kind of weird.
It's escape. I don't know why. Don't know when I picked it up, but for as long as I can remember, I've said escape, not escape. For some reason, it's an EX to me. And there's the weed. All right, so you immediately pull the Arvis forward. So this is good in a few different ways. One, it buffs Nino whenever if she gets pulled back into the front line.
No, why are we killing Arvis? What if they forget?
I don't think they will.
I don't know. I feel like it's one of the things that you do, like, at the start of your turn.
So this is a flip one deploy. Erica, yeah.
Right.
The bigger question is, why didn't they use Nino's skill? That means the other card in hand is likely another Nino. They should still use Nino's skill, so you can flip one, draw one, and you get a Nino anyway. You just guarantee a Nino support. So that you can you can draw a card. That hits?
Are we just gonna kill them?
I think that's the plan at the moment.
I
think they're legitimately just going to try and kill.
Orbs.
I don't overly agree with it, but it's not the worst option.
There's like, what, 8 dodges?
Oh, so they can flip one, draw one. This hits as well. Do they flip one, draw? Do they flip? Come on, use Nino's skill. Skill 2.
Thinking about it.
They're
not doing it.
No, they're not doing it. Why didn't you draw? Why?
Why?
The only reason to not draw there is if you want to flip one for Lilina. And flipping one for Lilina, yeah, it'll guarantee the Lilina hit, but it's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
Unless...
Okay, we currently have 3 ways to hit the Arvis on you.
No! Into a self!
That's true. You know, if that hit the Arvis, it would have hit.
Yep. But... They're gambling it all right here.
Keep Nino in the front line.
If they're going for game, they might, because Arvis is on the board, and at this point they can no longer kill Arvis.
There's no way you go for a game against a 5-card hand.
No, so there is still something. Oh no! Worst ordering, man.
Everything gone wrong at the last moment.
So no, they can still save Nino here. You get Eliwood to pull the Arvis. You get Knos to kill the Arvis.
Last card in hand was a Lilina this whole time and we didn't use it? What were we saving it for?
I don't know. So, anyway. You get Eliwood to pull the Arvis, and you get Erica to push the Nino back. And then you get Knos to kill the Arvis. That is your best and only way out.
Let's
And
see
this-
if they...
That is the only benefit of not flipping to draw with Nino's skill, is you have a way of...
I can move Seliph. Yeah,
Yes.
that works.
Yeah.
It's not necessary, but...
No, it's
same
the
outcome.
exact same as pulling Arvis.
I mean, yeah, it's just like, you know, you didn't have to ask about like forced march or whatever. You could have just,
Look, it's
pulled
fine.
the guy.
It's fine. It's fine. At least the plan is there.
It's just kind of silly. It's just a little goofy. It's like a little BM, you know.
I mean, it's fine.
What? Why did he do that? What?
What?
Why did he do that? Why did we stack the Lolita only to hit with Canas? It's like the worst way to do that.
You also just asked the question, so you could have got the Elliewood to push Seliph back,
Maybe-
effectively pulling the Arvis. Then you use Erica's skill that's flip one, move any unit. Oh, actually, no, it's non-main character. Erica is only non-MC. My bad. Anyway, this turn, kinda just a complete fuck-up. Because
Yeah, that's rough.
Quijas, they likely had a dodge. Yeah.
Well, we know they have a dodge.
Well, we can assume they do. It might technically be an Arvis dodge. The chances of that is low, but it could have been there. So we don't want to say yes, guaranteed. But this is game no matter what.
Well, even if they had an Arvis dodge, we still have like 6 guys in the front line that could have hit it, you know?
Yeah. So the first thing you should have done is Ellie. So I'm just gonna do this. The first thing you should have done is Ellie would pull the Arvis. Then you get Canas to kill the Arvis. Canas can't hit anything else. His attack is worthless against
game.
Seliph. You might as well kill the Arvis.
Good game.
At that point, you can then plan your other things to work better. You had that bond unflipped that you never ended up using, so flip it for that Nino draw. Get a card. It might save you. Next off, you have all these units. You just gotta punch more. Like, the punching was fine, it was just, you had to kill that Arvis. If Arvis was dead, these units that he just deployed cannot reach you. You live if Arvis is dead and Nino is in the back line. So all you needed to do is pull the Arvis with Elliewood, kill the Arvis with Canas attack. If Canas misses, then you get someone else to attack. You use the Nino skill to immediately stack the Lolina you got, so you can draw another card.
Wow.
So you could have had 2 more cards this turn if you had a bit better ordering. Anyway. Yeah.
It's, you know, it's definitely something you can learn.
Yeah,
So don't feel bad about it. Just focus on trying
it's
to
not,
analyze the board states a bit more in the future to figure out what your goal is.
yeah, it's not the worst. It's just like, this had a clear plan
Yeah.
of how you survive. Or how you at least gain cards, and then it just didn't materialize.
It's definitely a big thing in card games, is figuring out when you're supposed to play passive, when you're supposed to play aggressive. There's not really like a quantifiable answer to that. It's just something that you kind of need to learn over time. Are you still recording? Or is that...
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna stop right now.